All right. We are now live on Twitch, or should be here in just a moment. And our Twitch streams generally are pretty active. Like chat likes to talk.
Nice.
um, so if anything interesting comes up, I will read it out.
I'll pull up. Is it just two girls, one ship?
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll tag all the things.
So I'll obviously like follow your lead. Are there
Mm-hmm.
particular points where you want me to jump in and do commentary? How open or closed do you want what do you want conversation to be?
Oh, conversation can totally be open.
So,
This isn't like it's not highly scripted or regimented. I'll
cool.
go through kind of the whole intro thing, and then
Okay.
after I'm like, Andrew, welcome in, that's when I
Sweet.
feel it can go to a lot more
Um,
back and
I
forth.
do feel like we absolutely have to litigate the laughing scene. That feels mandatory.
Yes. The awkwardness of the forced laughter. Aw, Win, thank you for resubbing. I love you. And hello, Bat Knight. No, the laughter scene is just it's so good.
I I love it. I love it as much as weird as it is. Well, we'll talk about
Yeah. We are here early tonight. It just worked out better time-wise. Okay. Aw. V, yes, we are live early, and I love you too. I'm getting so many DMs. You're on early. What are you doing? I even sent
it.
out a tweet saying that I was going live early today, guys. Chill.
I'll say it's my fault. I'm the problem. I'm on the East Coast.
Yeah. We normally go live after my V is also East Coast, but we wait until her
Okay.
daughter's gone to bed. So
Oh
we
yeah.
don't go live until way late for East
Gotcha.
Coast.
Yeah, when you said 7 your time, I was like, "Ooh, that's not like my bedtime, but that's definitely like post I can be a person time."
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't even had
Mhm.
like late lunch yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. I think we're good to go. Let's get this party started. It's gonna be fun tonight, guys.
Oh
Also
yeah.
no audio clips. Google doesn't like me trying to play audio, so I'm gonna be inserting it in post. Ooh, and I can even insert the Tidus, the laughter scene in post. I'll take that recording and
Oh,
put it
hell
in.
yeah.
All right. Crack open the beer now. Get that sound out of the way. It's a thing. Every time.
Yeah,
Deep breath in,
I love it.
get into the
Mhm.
horny space, and
Yep.
go. Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Ship, the podcast where we analyze, rate, and review all that the world of video game romances has to offer. I'm Jennasis, the girl who is happy to give a final fuck you to 2022. Fuck off so hard.
Yeah.
If you're new here, welcome to the beautiful chaos. But you should know that our podcast centers on character and romance analysis and doesn't shy away from exploring the fun of fucking or from the deep emotional connections built between two characters using specific in-game dialogue. So if you want to stay spoiler-free, this isn't the podcast for you. Thanks for the spoiler alert, Sam. And just like with all of our previous episodes, we'll assume that you have some background knowledge of the game and character in question, but we will be providing context for those of you who may be unfamiliar. Today will be a little different. My bestest girl is going through some heartbreak right now and needs all of your light and laughter sent her way. Love you, babes. And this is my first shot at scripting a full episode, so be nice. It will be different on so many levels. I'm not doing our normal deep dive in analysis, but instead, I called upon a nerd of great magnitude. A guy I met at the Portland Retro Gaming Con in October of 22. While he isn't explaining the cultural significance of the Final Fantasy series, Andrew Henderson can be found most days hiding indoors from the oh-so-scary outside world. But don't write him off just yet. The man has beaten all 3 Dark Souls games. So there you go. He is also one of the 4 co-hosts of the Debate This podcast. Andrew, welcome in.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to have this conversation today.
Me too. Let our shiftsters know a little bit more about you and your podcast.
Yes, certainly. I'd love to. So I am one of 4 hosts of Debate This. We are a comedy podcast that talks about games and comic books. I definitely am more on the game side, but I have in the last year or so dabbled a little bit in comics. So our whole thing is we ask questions about games and comics that no one has ever bothered to ask. Like, what's the best color of Yoshi? Or if Kirby ate a boss from Metal Gear Solid, what would happen? And how wild would it be if he just started shooting out spirit ravens? Metal Gear Solid's weird. Anyway, that's Debate This. We've been doing it for shit, like
5
almost,
years.
we're hitting, this is year 6. So yeah. So 5-year anniversary. Yeah. And you know, all the major podcast apps, you can find us there.
And I am so happy that I did because I needed a good comedy podcast in my life. And the fact that I found a gaming comedy is just perfection.
Well, thank you. And it's been great getting to meet you and I've been listening to all your stuff too. I love Mass Effect. I love all of the characters in Mass Effect. That was such a formative game for me, formative series for me. Because I am the RPG guy. I'm the crunchy RPG guy. So listening to you and V relitigate Miranda Lawson was very entertaining. I have a lot of thoughts, and you know, having played that game when I was 15, of course I romanced the woman from Chuck. So yeah, and like I love your show as well. So this was great. We were finally able to do this.
Oh, thank you. I also love the fact that you reference Final Fantasy in your little online blurb, because that's what we're here to discuss tonight. The amazing.
It has become my personality.
Yes, you are the Final Fantasy guy. I am the Mass Effect girl. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I think right now I've kind of delved into I'm just the romance girl, and I'm okay with that.
I think that Venn diagram can be a circle.
Yes. Yeah. I only know of one person out of like the hundreds of people that I have talked to that play Mass Effect that's just like, I don't really romance anybody. And I'm like, who are you?
Well, it's like Dragon Age. Like, why else are you playing the game?
Oh, okay. Who are your Dragon Age romances? Know.
I've not played Dragon Age. I'm so sorry to disappoint. I've not played it. I know.
Okay. But who are your 3 Mass Effect?
Well, if you would have asked me when I was 16, it was Miranda. Now I think it's probably, well, it's obviously Garrus because Garrus is the only answer. I really like Tali as a character. She's really fun. And then I also romanced Liara. which again is like very much the vanilla romance.
Mm-hmm.
But when she comes back as the Shadow Broker, she's rad. She's rad as hell. And I do like Liara Broken Bad. I do like that a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely prefer Liara in 3 than I do to her
Yes.
in 1.
Yeah.
Big time. And the first Mass Effect tangent has happened. Let's get back to Final Fantasy. And specifically Final Fantasy X. And I want to say those words again because there has been debate on your show. It is not Final
Oh my
Fantasy X. No,
It is not
get the
Final
X
Fantasy
out of
X.
here.
It's not Mega Man X.
It's 10. 10 and 10-2. Those are the 2
Yes.
games. Okay. So I'll do a little background on the characters we will be talking first. Yuna and Tidus. There's also controversy over the pronunciation of it.
I was gonna ask, are you a Tidus or a Tidus?
I'm a Tidus.
You're a Tidus. Okay. I always said it Tidus in my brain, like because it's like the tide, like he's water themed. It's like the coming tides, right? Apparently Square Enix has said officially it's Tidus, but like, okay,
Yeah.
who cares?
There becomes a point where the populace's headcanon can overwrite what the game devs say.
Yeah. Aerith versus Eris, for example.
It's Tidus. All right, but first let's go over Yuna, and I'm going to be throwing a lot of proper nouns out there that may or may not make sense to everybody.
There's a lot of words and names.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't want to go into like the deep history of the game because Final Fantasy has so much lore behind it to begin with, and so I'm just going to assume that you've played a Final Fantasy game, and if you haven't, go play this one.
Yeah. It's the one when people ask me like, hey, I want to start playing Final Fantasy. Which one should I play? I always say this one because I think it's the most accessible. And I think it's one of the most, maybe not the, I don't think it's like the most complex story, but I think it's the most approachable.
Agreed. Definitely. And the puzzles in it are not so difficult that you can't figure them out. And combat is fun.
Combat is fun. You can get through the whole thing and not spend an exorbitant amount of time unless you're going for ultimate weapons. But yeah, you can blow through it in a reasonable amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So the Lady Yuna. Yuna is the daughter of High Summoner Braska. She's honest and determined, and she embarks on a pilgrimage to obtain the final Aeon through Yevon's teachings and defeat the big bad, Sin, a monstrous creature that terrorizes the world of Spira. She meets Tidus, who teaches her that there is more to life than sacrifice. Yuna is kind, loyal, polite, and passionate humanitarian who strives to seek the best in others and has a strong conviction to complete whatever task she feels is her duty. She is naive, always believing in the best of people, and places the needs of others above her own, becoming apologetic when she feels she has let someone down. She hides her feelings of fear and sadness while encouraging her friends to express themselves in her place. She's willing to carry others' burdens and sacrifice everything she has to destroy Sin, giving up on chances for her own happiness if it means helping others. Her interactions with Tidus make her question Yevon's teachings and become more direct and open. When her faith in Yevon is shaken, Yuna must find her own path in life and pursue her goals without the backing of faith.
Yeah, Yuna's the best character, right? Like, I mean, in my opinion, I think Yuna's the best character in this game. I think she's one of the best characters in of Final Fantasy. Honestly, she's always been one of my favorites. And you know and we've already done the spoiler alert. But like the thing about Yuna, right, is this whole adventure. You, the player, don't know this, but like she knows that she is going to die. Like she has lived her entire life knowing that has been born and bred and raised to be a sacrifice, which like that's fucked up. That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. But, and she's like, this is my purpose. This is what I'm going to do. And eh, there is this layer of, the fact that everybody knows this throughout the game. There is this layer of like nobody wants to get close to her because they don't want to, either they don't want the heartbreak, but also they don't want to like find themselves stopping her from doing this thing.
Right. And so the other characters all know this, but Tidus doesn't because he's
Right.
new to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so that brings another
And nobody
layer
tells
to it.
him, like a bunch of assholes. Like nobody just tells him. Like, hey man, here's the deal.
And it's not like she's not the only summoner out there. She is fighting to be the one to make the sacrifice.
Yeah. Right. So so we should probably say this: there is an entire team or group of people who are out there training to die to save this dying world.
Only for a short period of time, though, because sin always comes back.
Mm-hmm.
So fucked up. And it's why I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great because, and she's doing this because her dad did it. Braska was the hero of Spira, and he did this whole thing, and he went on this great pilgrimage, and he brought 10 years of peace, and like that this entire world lives on the brink of death, and they're like all they can do is hope for this small increments of peace, not for the giant demon whale in the sky to go away, but just to like not come back for a bit. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
Oh. All right. So we talked about Tidus, who is the other main character and the one that we mainly play as. We are seeing a lot of the story and learning right along with him. He's a rising star blitzball player from Xanarkand and son of major blitzball star Jecht. After Sin attacks his hometown, Tidus is transported to the world of Spira. Lost, confused, and seemingly out of place, Tidus meets Eunice. Eunice. What game is that from? Tidus meets Yuna and her guardians. He hopes that joining Yuna on her pilgrimage, he will find his way home. Tidus is upbeat and initially childish and naive to the world of Spira. He is also selfless and do what he believes is right, even if he doesn't think it all the way through first. Throughout the pilgrimage, he matures and becomes more level-headed and grounded. One of my favorite lines is, "This is our story. Now let's see this thing through together."
I just got chills. I just got chills hearing it.
I will insert the audio clip here for you guys so that way you can hear the level of excitement and just joy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so good.
I pretty much feel that way every time I hear something, a voice line delivered by James Arnold Taylor, which is why I get chills anytime I play Ratchet & Clank as well.
Oh. Oh. He does turn more serious when things get hectic, and despite his carefree ways, conceals a troubled past. Tidus is sensitive, and even when giving an emotional response to most of his arguments, tends to also give a good rationale. Despite having been picked on throughout his childhood by his blitzball-playing father, Tidus was motivated to become a top star himself. To Tidus's dismay, he has similarities to his father, who tended to ignore responsibility, take things easy, and never worry about the present situation, instead of leaving things for the future. A lot of Tidus's personality is shaped by the comments he used to receive from his father, and how he grew up to resent him. Despite having been verbally offensive, at heart, Jecht was proud of his son and his resolve. Tidus confronts his childhood and his relationship with his father when living out his new life in Spira, and matures from a self-centered and outspoken athlete to a selfless hero.
I feel like in the pantheon of Square Enix JRPG protagonists, Tidus kind of fell from grace for a while, and I felt like a lot of people hated on him. and only recently has kind of like risen up above the Vons and the you know where did you stand with Tidus the first time you played FF10?
Hmm. The first time I was like, he's a whiny little kid,
Yeah.
and I kind of put him in that category for a while. But then I replayed it about 3 years ago
Mhm.
and was just like, Jack was an asshole.
He's such an asshole. Dude is a drunk. Like he's a drunk.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that there's been another similar character in Final Fantasy. They're just like, yeah, this guy's an abusive alcoholic. Like,
Who
wow,
cheated on his wife.
sure
Uh
did.
and while okay, he didn't intend to walk out the door and never come home. I could have
Sure.
seen that being part of his personality down the road.
Right. Right. I mean, yeah, okay, you can make the argument that they're all figments or dreams or whatever, but still the emotions are real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I felt the same way when the first time I played it. I was like, who's this whiny little blonde kid? I don't care. He's just like, he's gonna him saying like, this is my story, like I didn't like him. I didn't like his, I mean, look, it was 2001. It was a different time. I didn't like it. I never liked his design. I thought he's very fashionable. He's very, uh, I don't know. He did not fit the mold of a masculine early 2000s male
Mm,
protagonist, right?
yeah.
Um, which at the time was very different, but now that I look back on it, and I similar had a very same experience. I played it when the remakes came out, and I saw myself much like when I replayed Final Fantasy VIII. I saw myself being like, what a wild, like, of course he would react this way. He's a 17-year-old and he's being thrust into this like crazy world where nothing makes sense. And again, like he loses it when when he finally finds out that Yuna's gonna die. It's because nobody fucking told him. Like all they could have done was tell him. I don't know why I'm so upset about that, but that really got me the second time I played this.
I think, the whole reason for not saying anything is because it's part of that keeping the distance. If we don't talk about Yuna dying, then maybe it won't happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, of course, it's not brought up because it's all something that everybody understands and nobody talks about.
Mhm. Yeah, it's easier
But
to ignore it.
yeah, but there were so many different opportunities. Like, he could have
Mhm.
just asked the simple question of, like, how did Braska die? And that would have opened the conversation that once you
Yeah.
become the high summoner and you do the final summon, you die.
Yeah. Overall, really good character. Really good. He does. I think he has such a he does grow a lot too in the
Hmm.
story.
Yeah.
Like you can definitely see that in his character, and not all of them do.
Uh, every time, well, in the before times, walking through a crowd of people and you hear a whistle, I would be, I'd be like,
Aw.
oh, yeah. So let's talk about their love. We've talked about how they've grown separately, but how do they grow together?
So, do we talk about the laugh? Should we start with the laugh or the
I
laugh scene?
I think so because that's when it kind of really it's the catalyst. It's the trigger point for them to actually
Yeah,
become more than just friends.
yeah, I agree. Because like when he sees her in Besaid the first time, he's like, "Damn!" Right? But that's that's just whatever. That I agree. That's the first time. So I think we talked about this a little bit before we pressed record, but like your pro laugh scene,
Hmm.
eh, same, so am I. And my take on it is that scene is really important to show to cut and to counter, I guess, the this this underlying sense of dread that everybody has, right? And it goes back to the thing that we don't talk about, the thing that, we're doing this pilgrimage to sacrifice our friend slash surrogate daughter. And it's awkward. Yes, it's awkward. Yes, it's weird. But that's the point, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
he's saying, that's the delivery. It's, hey, this is a really weird situation. Sometimes you just have to force yourself to laugh. And if you do it long enough, you might actually laugh. And they're laughing at themselves being silly. They're children. They're 17.
Yeah. So to describe the scene, something big and major has just happened, and they finally get to catch a breather, and all of the weight is kind of settling down that now they've got to move forward on the pilgrimage. And Tidus stops her and tries to pull her out of this melancholy by saying, just laugh with me. And he starts off with this stupid ha 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 ha. Like nobody laughs like that. But it's funny. And even now you laughed at me laughing that way because it's funny.
It's endearing. It's adorable. And everybody watches him because it's like, what's this weird kid doing? And then here's Yuna, because she's the ultimate empath, right? The beacon, the paragon of society. She's like, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. I'm going to join you.
Yep. And so she forces herself to laugh along with him. And then the real laughter comes through, and it's just so good.
It's amazing. It's adorable.
I think the other scene that we need to talk about is under the water.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Now that I'm not going to sit here and defend. Well, okay. I have 2 points of view. From an artistry's perspective, it's a very beautiful scene. I love Suteki Dane. That's an amazing song. It is up there with Eyes on Me from FF8. I'm a huge FF8 fan, if you couldn't tell. But having sex in water is weird.
But it's not water.
That's a fair point. It's that weird like blitzball water that isn't
it's blitz
really
water.
Okay, well, how is it different?
Okay, it's actually a little bit weirder because those are dead spirits.
Those are super dead spirits. Yeah.
So having sex in a pool of ghost is a lot weirder than having sex in water.
So So it's not a hot tub; it's a hot tub in a graveyard. Got it.
Oh. Yeah. I can't say that it's a good thing, but it is one of the most beautiful scenes I have seen in any video game.
Yeah. And that game came out in 2001, maybe 2002. Like, it's amazing to think that it's over 20 years old and that cutscene is still really good.
Yeah. Even playing it on old gen consoles, it's still really good.
Yeah. Definitely that was always the scene that was playing when my parents came down to do the laundry. And I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
Yep. I was doing research, watching scenes for the podcast, and my husband walked in while I was watching the Miranda scene, but I was trying to find like a very specific moment, so I was rewinding and watching the moment over and over again, and he's like,
"You're doing some butt scrubbing."
Yeah. And he's just like, "How many times are you gonna watch Shepard grab Miranda's ass?" And I was like, "Oh shit."
As long as it takes.
Exactly.
Here's a question. When you played this the first time, Jen, what did you pick up? Because I didn't. Did you pick up what they were trying to say? Because obviously, like, Final Fantasy can't be like, they're banging in water, but like, they're banging in water.
No, I want to say that the first time that I played through it, that I was definitely at the age where I didn't immediately think, oh, they were having sex. I thought it was more of just they were making out in the water. But then seeing it later, the way that their bodies swirl and intertwine together, it's very, very obvious
Yeah,
what's going on. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And Kamari's there the whole time. Let's not forget.
Oh, Kumari Ronso, don't watch. But Kumari's
Everyone's
not
favorite
horny.
character. Yes, that's good. That's a really good joke.
Oh, okay.
Incredible.
Hmm. The way. So, did you get the secret ending, or have you ever seen the final secret ending?
For the first 10 or 10-2?
Wait, was it in 10 or am I mashing the games together where he
Are
comes
you
back?
talk That's 10-2.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Unless they did some messing around with the remakes.
They might have, but now the games have pretty much the endings have mashed together for me. I would
Yeah.
also love to talk 10-2
Yeah,
because
absolutely. I'm gonna do a quick Googling here because now there is a good
definitely.
ending.
Hmm.
Okay. There is a good ending. Hold up. Oh, this is the longest article ever. This is fine. This all stays in. We don't cut anything.
Oh my god,
um
no. We cut so much out of this show. Are you kidding me?
also same. Um okay. I don't see here. This doesn't say FF10 has. Are there's two endings to this game? No, there is only one of them is the game. Okay. Okay, game facts. There's only one ending. Yeah, I think we're both thinking of 10-2 where he comes back
Okay.
and you hear the whistle. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I guess with the way that the game ends,
Hmm.
and Titus has gone through all like works out a lot of his trauma. And,
Yeah.
that needs to be acknowledged. The fact that he works out his anger towards Jack a lot.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That last is it the I think it's when you get to the center of sin and you finally like and you see Jack and he's like, I'm gonna turn into a Pokemon now, but like
Hmm.
I love you. And like that is a really good scene. And that's like the culmination of Titus's entire journey. And he's basically like, hey, I still think you're kind of a bad dude, and I don't really forgive you, but I know you're just doing your best. And it was like it was him growing up in the sense that like he hit that point that I think everybody does with their parents where you go from them being this like infallible god to them just being a person, you know?
Hmm.
And like seeing the spheres of them on their journey, he was like, hey, you're just a guy. You're just a guy like me who messed up a bunch, and you're just kind of like a shitty dude, and that's okay, you know? And
Yeah.
like that's such a strong, I thought, way to approach that and be like, I'm not necessarily like I'm still mad at you, but like we're cool.
Yeah. I think that there was a slight level of it's I don't have it in my heart to forgive you right now, but I'm going to release all the anger attached to
Yeah,
it.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Now I'm going to get all sad.
I know. Well, I mean, what would a Final Fantasy game be if not for trauma and killing God with the power of friendship, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think we should take a little bit of a mid break because I've got the normal pod stuff to talk about, and then we'll come back and talk about the weirdest relationship in this game between
Oh,
Wakka and Lulu.
real 180 coming up.
Yep. All right. Welcome to the middle of the show where we talk about everything about the show and nothing about the lore of the game we're discussing tonight. Haha. I would like to thank our Amazeball patrons, I love each and every single one of you. Toasty, Apollo, Shanko, Miss Theos, Win, Bat Knight, Lizzie, and Rydell. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being amazing shipsters, hopeless romantics that you are. We don't have any new reviews to read out tonight. It has been a minute since we've gotten one. So if you have a little review that you'd like to leave us on iTunes, go ahead and show us some love. 5 stars, please. Also, Spotify still does not have ratings reviews available, but you can drop us 5-star on there. It'd be very much appreciated. Now I was looking for fun facts, and a lot of it is just like lore stuff and like cute little things about the characters. But the one thing that I found out that was really cool about Tidus and Yuna was that they won first place in Game Informer's magazine's Best Couple of the Year feature.
I love this. I love this so much.
February of 2009. It's like such a time capsule for that moment. The game came out in 2001. Yet 8 years later is when they were still dominating as best couple.
Not even a little bit relevant. Do you happen to know what the 2 and 3 spots were?
I don't, but I'm pretty sure that Google will tell me.
Yeah, I'm looking up too, and I'm not seeing anything. But looking up Game Informer on the internet is not an easy thing. Oh well.
I guess we could divert for a second and talk Final Fantasy X-2, because it's the continuation of Yuna's story, and it is such. I loved it. Like I had fun with that game.
Too. It's a really good game. It's a really, really good game. I will tell you, I don't love playing FF10. Like it's fine. I'm very much like I like crunchy job systems and all the weird mechanics. So for me, like the battle system is very fine. In my opinion, it's very forgettable. So like FF4.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like on my second playthrough, it even felt kind of a grind to go through it. Admittedly, even though the story is like so good. 10-2, never have that problem. That game is a blast to play.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, the different outfits and like trying to figure out the best ways to level this one and the party combinations. Yeah. It's great. The grinding in 10 and how far you have to fucking walk to get anywhere.
Yeah. I never need to play the Mihen High Road again.
Right.
Or Mushroom Rock Road. Like those are experiences that I'm good with for the rest of my life.
Agreed. Major agreed. But
10-2's got the greatest intro in the history of video games.
Yes.
The J-pop song.
The J-pop song that threw me for an absolute loop. I was like, what is Yuna doing up there shaking her ass? Like, I did not.
It's great. Changed the trajectory of my life.
So can we talk about 1,000 words?
Yeah. I listen to that song like regularly. Like I put it on in my car the other day.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
It
whips ass.
And just watching the video, it makes me tear up every single time.
Yeah. My absolute favorite is when the other, and I'm forgetting her name now, the woman she's channeling, I guess, when she does this, who was originally this here, when they're both like singing together, like her Force Ghost shows up and they're singing, and then Yuna takes the second part and she goes 1,000 words, and you see her head bobble. It's like 1,000 words. I love that so much. There's so much personality in that.
Literal chills. Oh.
It's a good game. It's a good game. Everybody should go play. Yeah, go play the remake. They're boxed together. You can get 10 and 10-2. It's like $20. You can get it on Switch. Just go do it.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna listen to that song after this episode. Yeah.
Well, you're gonna need to listen to it after we talk about Lulu and Wakka.
Right. So we will go ahead and shift gears and
Mm-hmm.
talk about the oddest pairing that I have watched unfold a dozen times and still don't understand after all these years. I love Lulu. I
Yeah, she's
probably
great.
love Lulu a little bit more than I even love Yuna, and that's saying a lot.
That's fair.
I cosplay as Lulu. I dress
Literally
up
right now.
yeah. Oh, I'm not wearing the skirt, but I have the belt
Mhm.
skirt.
Oh, awesome. That's great.
All right.
How many belts does it have? Does it
I'll
have
show
more than
you.
4 belts?
Oh yeah.
Dope.
Turn the blur off on my camera so you can actually
Yeah.
see it.
That's a couple belts. It's a couple belts on that.
Yeah.
It's awesome, though. That's really cool.
And that is why my legs are always below the camera line, because y'all don't need to see that I podcast in PJs.
I mean, we're all here. We're all at home in our home offices. I haven't worn hard pants in months.
I still have to go to work every day.
Bummer.
Crap, where did it go?
So speaking of bummers, Wakka.
Okay. So I have Chapu on my list first to discuss because he is somebody that needs to be acknowledged. But not much is known about him because he passed onto the far plane before the events of the game. But he needs to be acknowledged as Wakka's younger brother and Lulu's late boyfriend. He once told his friend that once his blitzball team won the cup, he would propose to Lulu. So they were serious, but also knowing his blitzball team like I do, maybe he wasn't all that serious.
Yeah.
You're waiting
not
for the
wrong.
Arcs to win? Like, that's not going to happen, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that is a really weird thing to a really weird thing to promise. And yeah, wow, maybe he knew the whole time. That
Yep.
was just he was just setting her up. Incredible.
All right. So Lulu, the amazing, amazing Lulu is gorgeous, and I can't even say like I had a childhood crush on her. No, because the crush has never left.
Yeah. My crush was you. But Lulu's great, and I support everyone's crush on Lulu.
So Lulu grew up in Besaid with Yuna and Wakka, and she views Yuna as a younger sister. Lulu was Wakka's older brother. No, I just said he was younger. Lula was. I need to quit drinking the guava. That's
Killing
what's going on here.
Blame the guava.
I'm gonna blame the guava. Lulu was Wakka's brother Chapu's girlfriend, and she still grieves over his death. Her stoic and self-possessed nature make her seem insensitive, but conceals a gentleness underneath. Lulu is stern and scathing, particularly to Wakka. She is self-possessed and sardonic, moody and cynical, and does not smile often. She is nonetheless kind-hearted, caring, and intelligent, and is one of the few Yevonites to question the religion on objective terms. Having lost her lover to sin, Lulu has become reserved and prefers to keep her emotions locked up, choosing to examine the world with realism and logic. Agreed. Lulu is stoic and rarely breaks her stern demeanor. Though usually uncompromising, Lulu is close to Wakka since they grew up together and comforts him when he is upset. Lulu also has a seductive side to her. If Tidus expresses an attraction to her, she'll say that she'll add Tidus to her list and wish him luck. Lulu's personality and figure inspire awe in the group's younger girls. Yuna confiding in her, and Riku wanting to be her when she grows up.
Even though she's like 3 years older than them, technically. Isn't she
What?
like 23 or some bullshit like that?
I think Lulu is older than Riku, but not by much.
Yeah, I remember the ages being always being really weird. Like RN is 32. Like RN is younger than I am, which is just wild.
Okay, Arin's taken a beating, but looks
Yeah.
way older than
Yeah.
that.
He looks like he's been smoking since he was 6 months old.
Well, he's been drinking for that long, so
That's
that's probably what's
fair
done
point.
it.
Yeah. He is also dead, so I guess all of these things are fair points.
So, I mean, but that's the image that he wishes to project then, right?
Yeah, that's a way to go with it. Yeah, no, you're right. Because they, if the, well, is that like a far plane superpower? Because he's not on the far plane. He's just like a wandering spirit or whatever. Even though he's not like he doesn't turn into a wolf or a rock monster, he can be himself, but he doesn't have to go to the far plane to do that. But no one else can do that.
Right.
Final Fantasy X is weird.
It is very weird, and I'm totally going to nerd out on this for a moment because
Yeah,
when he dies, he's not that old. He's not the Auron that we see. So he chooses this
yeah,
projection as what he wants to be
right.
seen as.
He ages himself up. Yeah,
Yeah. Why?
but no one, and I don't know. Well, is that him? And how does he how does he go in and out of scary dream sin world if he's dead? And so like he projected himself as that in scary dream sin world, but he like came out of it and he was still that. But if he can do that, why can't Chapu do that and just like be like, "Hey, Lulu, you don't have to marry this weirdo."
Because maybe Chapu was born of Spira, and since Auron was born of Xanarkand, he's got Xanarkand powers.
Was he? I don't. Is that right? I thought Auron was born of spirit too. Because he was just like, wasn't he just like Braska's buddy?
I He was. Okay, wait a minute. Shit. Theory
Did
busted.
we just blow this whole thing wide open?
Final Fantasy X, y'all. It's a weird, weird ride.
Oh,
I think Lulu is most known for, in like the gaming world, as having the biggest boobs and
yeah.
the most belts of any belts on belt.
She's got more belts than Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She fills the belt quota because I don't think Tidus doesn't have a belt. So that question was posed once: what Final Fantasy character isn't wearing belts?
Well, Titus only has one pant leg. he's one half pants and one half shorts.
Oh, the fashion in this game is the weirdest. Oh.
Tetsuya Nomura, you silly bastard.
Okay. Let's go Mr. Parachute Pants and talk about Wakka.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
I know. We have to, though. We have to. I'm sorry.
Let's get through it.
Wakka is the captain of the Besaid Aurochs, a team that has never won a game. His late brother Chapu was a crusader who lost his life while wielding a Machina weapon. For this, Wakka harbors resentment for Machina and bigotry towards the Al Bhed, who use them, and his staunch following of the teachings of Yevon, which forbid Machina, to further rationalize his hatred. This grudge extends to borderline racism, and his worldview does broaden a little during Yuna's pilgrimage, and despite his bigotry, Wakka is a loyal friend. Wakka would be considered Austronesian descent in our world, which is a family of languages spoken in an area extending from Madagascar in the west to the Pacific Islands in the east. I had no idea that was even a thing.
That's cool. Yeah, I'd never heard that term before. Neat.
Yeah. Austronesian. He is characterized by his Besaid Island accent, and he uses speech mannerisms like "brudda" for finishing his sentences with "ya." Everything Wakka says is a question, yeah?
Yeah. My only analog to Waka when I played this in 2001 was the guy from Rocket Power, Tito
Oh,
from Rocket Power.
yes. Yeah. I mean, he is a combination surfer boy, like
Hmm.
California surfer with uh Hawaiian accent and the weirdest peacock hairstyle.
Yeah, it defies gravity itself.
It does.
I always found it funny that it's cool that he has that speech and he has that accent. It is very funny that no one else in BC talks like that.
So for the game to categorize it as a Besaid accent, Yuna's from Besaid, Lulu's
Yep.
from Besaid,
Heck,
almost all the other orcs are from Besaid.
yep.
None of them talk like that.
Nope.
Does Chapu talk like that in his hollows?
I can't remember. I can't remember if we hear do we hear him when they go to the far plane or is he just like
Not when
there?
we go to the far plane, but there is a hollow sphere that you can pick up where in like one of the little caverns off the beach
You're
that
right.
is of Chapu.
You're right. You're right. Um, I don't know. I could look it up, but I don't need to. We don't need to spend that time.
No. Um Also, it is referenced to by many characters in the game that Tidus and Chapu look a lot alike. I don't
Hmm.
see it. I don't
No,
see it at all.
no. I don't think you can. I don't think you get to have Titus and Chapu look alike, and then have Chapu and Waka look like brothers. I don't think you get both.
Yeah. He definitely looks related to Wakka,
Sure. Yeah, I'll buy that.
but he doesn't look like Tidus.
They might be the same height. They're both 17-year-old males. Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, there are 7 people on Besaid, so I guess that's fair.
which might explain why Lulu and Wakka end up together.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Okay.
slim pickings.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So with her level of stoicism and reservedness and but also very motherly and caring. Like,
Hmm.
I don't see how she is with Wakka at the end of this. He's
Yeah.
so,
He's
I don't,
insufferable
yeah.
through the whole game. Like I found as much as I enjoyed much as I found Titus, excuse me, in my second run, I equally disliked Waka the whole time. Like up until the Unalesca fight, he's insufferable and he is against the entire party the whole time.
Yeah. And the notes said borderline racism. No, he's just straight up fucking
Yeah,
hates
full
the
on.
Albed. Yeah.
Yeah. He's so mean to Riku, who's like the becomes the life of the party after you get her.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that they would have forced this relationship in there?
Honestly, okay, so you know the trope in rom-coms where the two main protagonists end up together and then like each of their like annoying friends end up to get like hook up at the wedding. You know what I mean?
Mm,
That to me read as that. It was just like honestly for convenience. Like, well, they're there. Why not? I don't know.
now I just started pairing everybody else up together and I don't like what came out.
Who's Kamari with?
Well, that I was like Riku because she's at least jumped up into his arms and gave him a big old hug once before.
Right, right.
And Auron doesn't survive the end of the game.
Yeah, yeah, that's all. Those are all your options.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like Wakka was going to get together with Riku. That wouldn't.
No. No, no. I mean, he hated. He went through that whole game being incredibly aggressive towards her. So, um, yeah, it's weird, and it sucks that they're like together and she's like pregnant. I feel like when you go to see, I know you.
The
I saw. Oh my
pregnancy.
god, you reeled.
Oh,
Yeah, when she's pregnant and Besaid and 10-2, and you're like you're playing as Yuna and you've been like flying across the world and you come back to visit your older sister in your shitty hometown and she's pregnant with her shitty husband like you're as Yuna, you're like I need to get the hell out of here as soon as possible. Like
okay.
it's rough.
It is. It is very, very rough. One, okay. Yay for having a female character in
Mhm.
game be pregnant and have it not end her life there. Like in a lot of
Yeah,
other media, as soon as a woman has a baby, now I am
yeah,
mom and mom only and don't do anything else.
that's fair.
So I appreciate the fact that she still gets to have a life. What I don't like is the fact that you are going to make one of the most badass looking characters pregnant, but not visibly pregnant. Okay?
Yes.
I have a child. I have corseted for like half of my life. Never once did I possibly think that I could corset while pregnant.
No, that's insanity. That's a game written by men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's very much it. And the fact that their reasoning for not giving her a pronounced belly is they didn't want to take the time to create a new asset.
Sure. Sure.
You created new assets for Riku looks different, Yuna looks different. You
Yeah.
introduced pain.
Well, I was gonna say, in their defense, they did create a new asset. They created Pain.
Ah,
I like Pain, but like obviously, like it's very clear that Pain was just Lulu.
yeah.
Also,
Note to self, please edit exactly the clip where Andrew says, I like pain.
I, bu- I'll allow it.
Oh,
We were doing this is irrelevant, but we just finished recording our intro for this year. We do like clips from previous things, and one of the clips didn't make it is just me saying I'd let Maria Sharapova step on me. I don't know what the context for that was. I don't remember saying that. And I'm glad it
uh,
didn't make it in though.
yeah. I think so. One of the lines that I have said on this show
Mhm.
that made it past the editors that I thought was going to get cut was Ashley just needs to own her pussy and get what she wants. Yep. All right. Back into Final Fantasy.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I don't understand how the relationship between Lulu and Wakka works out. There was no flirtation during 10.
No, no.
It was very antagonizing. So I guess there is that it's a middle school romance. It's an elementary school playground.
Yeah. Well, and what makes it so not believable is if anything, their relationship is familial. Like they and Lulu very much is like has this like older sister kind of like surrogate mother role with Yuna, and Waka pretends that he has like an older brother father role. So like you could squint your eyes and maybe turn the camera 45 degrees and say okay maybe they have this like father and mother thing going on, but like even all of that they don't like each other. They don't get along at all. And it's not even like where it's not even where it's like, oh, you like it's just no, they just like they don't gel at all.
Mm-mm. They don't. And Lulu questions their religion, and Wakka is like, "No, die hard, everything,
Mhm.
live the scripture by the book, by the letter."
Yeah.
Uh, Wakka is a blitzball player, and I don't even think you can put Lulu out on the field. It just
Yeah.
things just don't make sense to me. But
Yeah.
they gave us one of the best video game romances ever. It with
Yeah.
Tidus and Yuna, so they're
According to
allowed to
Game
have a shitty
Informer.
one. The almighty Game Informer.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did Final Fantasy good. We'll have to come
I think
back
so.
and uh talk about 16 when it gets here.
Oh, yeah. Who? Okay, real quick off the cuff. If Yuna and Titus are the best couple, FF couple, who's the second best?
Uh Baltier and what Fran.
That's
They're
a good
not
one.
like I think it's not a romantic relationship, but
Yeah.
their level of devotion and friendship to each other is top notch.
Yeah. I like that. That's a good answer. Eh, they have one of the most real, like believable, long-standing friendships, and they are like truly like partners in however way you want to define that. Yeah, I like that answer. Um, I was gonna say, I think my initial answer is I like Squall and Renoa, not because I think they're a good couple, but I like them as characters and I like how they grow together. Um, there's also some characters in FF14 that I think there is. Have you played FF14 at all?
No.
Okay. There are two characters where like the one character is very much they never come out and say that he's gay, but like everybody it's kind of one of those things it's kind of just everyone's assumed, and they did a really nice thing in two was it two expansions ago where they brought this other character on who's kind of like a periphery, and like they're like, oh yeah, they're really close, and he's like they've learned from each other, and he's like, I really respect you, and it's they're not
Mm-hmm.
saying it, but they're like, okay, they're good on you, good, you did the thing.
They're
So
swirling underwater together.
they're swirling underwater together, and it's very nice in its very understated way.
Oh.
But anyway.
Bat Knight
Cool.
in chat says, of course, there is the classic Cloud and Aerith.
Cloud and Aerith. Yeah, Cloud and Aerith, except for also Zach and Aerith.
Yeah.
I'll be interested what we've got. Not only do we have 16, but we've got the second FF7 remake coming out too. So I'll be curious how Zach fits in all that. Well, so they might rewrite that history. Who knows?
Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let us wrap it up. All right. Before we wrap it up for the night, is there anything else that you want to shout out or plug? Where can the people find you?
Yeah. Once again, I am 1/4 of Debate This, so you can find Debate This on any podcast app. We are a comedy show. We talk about games and comics. We ask wild questions, and we all come to the table with some sort of fun, goofy answer. It's a good time. Yeah. Any podcasting apps. We're also on YouTube as well. Just search Debate This Cast. All of our episodes. We are up to date as of last week. And then you can also occasionally find us streaming again at Debate This Cast on Twitch.
I watched them play through Doki Doki Literature Club. I
My
laughed
gosh.
my ass off when they discussed turn a random game into a dating sim. Oh, they're
There was
being
I forget the name of the game, but it was some pro bass fishing game that became very, very horny.
yes. A lot of your episodes become very, very horny. I feel a lot of
Yeah,
crossover with our shows.
I agree. There is a lot of unwarranted horniness.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Oh, and if you like what you're hearing, please be sure to leave a review on iTunes or give us a rating on Spotify, and also the guys over at Debate This. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also find me on the Cyberpunk Lorecast with my co-host Toasty, where we explore the foundations of the past, the state of Night City today, and the news of the future for all things cyberpunk. And of course, you can find me in our Two Girls One Ship channel on the Robots Radio Discord and in our own Discord server where we nerd out on all of our favorite CGI significant others. Come give us a follow on all the social medias and on patreon.com/twogirlsoneship. Please remember that you have to type out the whole word because I create adult content and therefore can't be searched. Links to those are in the description. Be sure to check out our live streams on Twitch on Fridays, normally at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. Our podcast episodes release on Mondays because you need at least one good thing on a Monday. Thanks for listening, and remember that beauty is in the eye of the controller. Yay!
Woo! Awesome. Thank you so much. That was so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yay! Well, thank
I feel
you.
like, yeah, I feel like we probably could have talked about this for hours.
Agreed. And I mean, I'm not doing anything. So,
Keep pouring the wine.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, wrap up thoughts. FF10 is a really good game. It's one of those things where like I enjoy I I didn't super enjoy playing through it the second time because like I said the combat can give you a little grinding and like for example doing the ultimate weapon things is just the worst.
Yeah.
And blitzball. But I think it's one of those things where I enjoy more talking about it and listening to content about it and like experiencing it as like as a thing as a medium versus just like playing it like versus like a Final Fantasy Tactics where it's like I don't really care about the story, it's stupid, like who cares about the characters, it's just fun to play.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what you call that, but that's my connection to this game.
No, I actually that kind of fits pretty well with how I feel about it because, I've replayed it. I think I've replayed 10 2 more times than I've replayed 10.
Yeah,
And
same.
I think I've gotten too spoiled with RPGs where my decisions will change the storyline. And with Final Fantasy, that never happens.
It's
Or like
linear.
very minor things. Yeah, it's a very linear game. And I think that now that I've broken out of the linear, I can't really go back.
Yeah. I think too the old style turn-based battling random encounters doesn't do it a lot of favors.
Right. If I want to play Pokemon, I'll go play Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think it's one of the last games to do that too, because 13 does turn-based, but you can at least see the enemies. It's not like random encounters, which I don't know, it just feels way worse in a modern RPG.
12 wasn't turn-based. It had the Gambit system.
The MMO, which I like. I'm a big 12 apologist. I know a lot of people don't like it, but
I get this one wrong all the time. Is it 12 or is it 13? Because I thought 12 was the one with Baltier and Fran. And
you're
Vaughn
right.
is the main character. Okay.
Yeah. 13 is Lightning and Hope and Saz and
that one I only got like halfway through. And I don't remember when did that one come out?
2013? 2013? No. 2008.
Okay. Yeah, I got married that year. I don't think I was doing a whole lot of gaming.
Yeah.
So
Um, it was I was like a junior in college, so that was I wasn't either.
Yeah.
Have you played a lot of the other FF games?
I played 379.
Mhm.
I think I went
Okay.
odd numbers for a while.
Okay. Yeah. Nine's really fun. I like 9. I hadn't played it until a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I played them all.
You haven't finished a Final Fantasy game since the one with Kain and Cecil. Yes, you are old.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Should we spoil the fact that you and I are going to be meeting up again here in a couple of weeks? In a month, almost exactly to the day?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, let's talk about it. When are we recording that again? Is that exactly a month from now?
Yeah, the 7th.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, did you get have we gotten questions yet, or have you heard he hasn't said anything yet?
No, I know what the main topic is, but Todd hasn't
Let me
sent
pull up
like the
the
other two
list.
questions.
I don't think we have it, is why.
Yeah.
I just honestly couldn't remember. We are like so behind right now because everyone was, as I'm sure you can imagine, everyone was like traveling. Yeah. So we're like trying to
Yeah.
get caught up. Let me see what that is. Change an endgame boss into a romance option. Yep. Okay. Do you know what you're going to talk about yet?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Or are you willing to tell me? Or you want it
Mm.
to be a surprise?
Theron.
That's really good. It's a really good answer. God damn it, that's a really good answer. Because, like, okay, that is the perfect example of you can convince him to kill himself or talk him out of doing the thing.
I'm gonna
It's a
convince him
really
to
good
fuck me
answer.
instead.
Yeah, I mean, like, why wouldn't you? Altarians are sexy. That is canon.
Exactly. Nihilus, when you first see him on screen, you're like, oh, who is that?
Yeah, it. I think I told you, like, listening to those episodes made me boot up the remaster because it was on the PlayStation monthly, and yeah, I did. You do look at those characters in a little different light. The first time you meet Niles, you're like, okay, all right, I get it. Okay, Garrus shows up. You're like, all right, he's good.
Yeah, so I've had this topic in my head for over a month now because I've been talking with Todd about it for like
Mhm.
a while. Um so and I'll spoil like a little bit of it. Where is it? And it's not part of my argument at all, but I think it's one
Mhm.
of the perfect jokes that I have lined up for this. Um Uh, it's time for Todd to hand over the crown of weird boners, so strap in, strap up, and strap on. I'm about to do what I do best and describe a romance culmination scene.
It's very good. Crown of boners. That's
Weird
something.
boners, specifically weird
Crown of weird
boners.
boners. Crown of weird boners is that's my least favorite Binding of Isaac item. It's
Oh,
very good. I am excited. I don't know. I have to think now. I think the easy answer is to do something like a not what's like a Yu Yevon or a Zero Miss from FF4, but I'll keep thinking.
yeah,
Yu
don't go
Yevon would be
sin.
pretty.
Oh, ooh,
Uh,
ooh, Seymour.
Seymour oozes sexuality.
He
He's got
does.
that weird like I don't even know, like he's got like duck hips. Like I don't know why, but you know what I mean? Like he's got Donald Duck hips.
He does. Well, and then it's the pants. It's because they're
Yeah,
ducklet pants, but like off
that
of his
must be it.
body.
Yeah, that must be it.
But the hair and the
He's got
face.
that belly button that's as smooth as a baby's bottom.
He had the exposed belly button before it was popular.
Yeah, he did it before Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Fashion icon.
I do I have to do Seymour? I think I might have to do Seymour.
I think you have to.
Yeah, I think I have to. Okay, it's
Especially
decided.
You've talked about his anima before too.
We have, yeah. I think Todd brought Anima up a year or two ago.
My 13 dads. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was my 13 dads. My God. So stupid.
Your show is stupid,
Okay.
but it's in the best kind.
It's incredibly stupid. I mean, it's amazing that we never thought we would continue to be able to like think of episodes, think of content.
Yeah. And yes, Bat Knight, it is very Lulu vibes because it is part of my Lulu cosplay. So I'm glad that it gives off the correct vibes.
You did it.
Did it. Yay. And this show, we did it. Yay.
You did it.
All right, I'm going to go and I'm going to record audio clips of my Oh, do you have a favorite Tidus Yuna line that you want me to throw in there somewhere?
Yeah, something with Yuna by my side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And our story.
Mm-hmm. This is our story. That's the best. It's kind of perfect because I love the whole. I also really like when she says this is my story. Like stop saying that. Like I'm the character, and then he like actually gets it. He's like, no, like this is now after like finding out like no, this is not my story. I am kind of this like meta nightmare ghost. Like but this is our story. Like we're gonna make our lives what we are. Like this is not the journey of your sacrifice. This is not the telling of me being a weird dream monster. Like we are carving our own path. I think it's really cool.
And that is such an interesting point, again, tangenting off of that, is that
Mm-hmm.
from a video game standpoint, you're always the main character.
Yeah.
Like it is always your story. Like when I go, and maybe that's why people didn't like Tidus for so long, was because it was like, well,
maybe
he's not the main guy, but the main guy is supposed to be me. And so I'm not the main guy in this story. What the hell?
Yeah. I wish so much that game, more so than most, would have just allowed would not have let the character pick their own name, because I think the biggest disservice that game ever does is not giving Tidus a name. Like he has a name, right? But they can't say it because because you can pick your own name. The voice actors can't say you, Tidus. They just have they have to indirectly allude to him. And I think that was the biggest disservice that the writing ever did to that game, because it breaks that immersion. And I wish they could have just been like, and Tidus, you know?
Yeah. And also the fact that you can rename your Aeons also. Like,
yeah.
If I'm calling, like when in that trailer for 16, when he calls out the name Ifrit, I'm like,
yeah,
that gave me like chills. Yeah. And
yeah.
But
also,
they don't do that
I've always called it Ifrit, so learning that it's supposed to be Ifrit is also important.
Oh, yeah. And I've always said Ifrit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Shiva, Bahama, Ifrit, Anima, Yojimbo.
Mm-hmm. A friend of mine in high school growing up used to call it Bahamut. like
Baja Blast?
Yeah, like Baja Blast.
With the power of Mountain Dew, I shall destroy you.
Instead of Giga Flare, it's a Giga Chad.
The spinning wheel on his back is actually an ice maker. All right, now shit's gotten weird. Cool. I think it is time to end the stream.
Where can I send my audio file?
Oh, yeah, let me take it offline. Goodbye,
Bye, everybody.